Excellency. This is your moment.
Please be seated. Thank you, Directors of Ceremonies, Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, the fourth President of the Republic of Namibia, and now immediate former President, and Madam Siska Mbumba. Your Excellencies, heads of state and governments, Your Excellency, Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, our second President, and Madam Penehu Pivo Pohamba, Your Excellencies, former heads of states and governments, Your Excellencies, Vice Presidents, and Prime Ministers, Honorable Dr. Sarah Kuongero Amadila, Speaker of the National Assembly, and Mr. Amadila, Honorable Lucas Sinimbo Muha, Chairperson of the National Council, and Madam Muha, Your Lordship Peter Shivute, Chief Justice, and Justice Shivute, all our distinct dignitaries, and let me recognize my dear husband, General Ndaitwah, and ask to stand on the protocol established by the Director of Ceremonies, but singling out my dear sister Samia Suluhu Hassan, of the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I want also to, looking into the audience, I'm really moved, and with your permissions, Directors of Ceremony, I cannot avoid but to recognize African women leaders in this room. And I believe it is not too much. It's not too much if I can ask the African women leaders who are visiting us in this occasion just to raise. African women leaders who are visiting us specifically among them, I'm recognizing faces that have played a major role in the preparation and the holding of the 4th World Conference on Women that took place in Beijing. Madam Ellen Sirleaf was then working at the UNDP. And in my capacity as the chief negotiator for the African group, and the Beijing platform, we had serious problems where to meet. But I know the Deputy Secretary General is here, and this is not reporting anybody. She made her office available for us to operate there. And they were working with Viola Morgan, who's also in the audience. Please, my colleagues, thank you very much for coming, and take your seat. I'll now go to my statement. Fellow Namibians, ladies and gentlemen, today we are gathered here as Namibians, joined by the international community to witness the change of administration from one head of state to another. Changing of administration has become an entrenchment, political and historical phenomenon in the Namibian culture and tradition since independence in 1990. I therefore stand before you today with profound gratitude and a deep sense of responsibility towards the people of Namibia who placed their trust and confidence in me by electing me as the 5th President of the Republic of Namibia to lead this great nation for the next 5 years. Directors of ceremonies, my ascendance to the highest office in the land is the accumulation of years of struggle by generations of Namibian men and women for the political, social, and economic liberation of our motherland. I would like to pay homage to all of them, those who have passed on and the living. Today's event is taking place 20 days after we laid to rest His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Sam Tshafishuna Nujoma, Namibia's founding president, father of the Namibian nation, and the leader of our revolution. May his soul rest in perfect peace, as he is one of those we are paying homage today. Let me also take this opportunity to acknowledge the crucial role that the international community has played in our struggle for national independence. Your solidarity, material, and moral support has carried us to the logical conclusion of our struggle, namely the attainment of our independence. It is gratifying to see that so many representatives of friendly countries, organizations, and individuals, friends of Namibia, have come to celebrate with us our 35th anniversary of our independence and to witness my inauguration. Your presence here today is highly appreciated. It's a source of inspiration and a moral booster to me and Namibians at large. And I want to assure you that our policies on strengthening cooperation with the international communities, with your own countries, and your organization would continue to be strengthened. Director of Ceremonies, my inauguration today is taking place against the backdrop of solid foundation that was laid by my predecessors. Our founding president, Dr. Sam Nujoma, who led the liberation struggle and laid a solid foundation for peace, political stability, democracy, social and economic development. In his acceptance speech as first president of an independent Namibia, Comrade Sam Safishuna Nujoma had this to say, and I quote, "I move in the name of our people to declare that Namibia is forever free, sovereign, and independent." End of quote. Successfully, President Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba and Dr. Hage Godfrey Geingob and Nangolo Mbumba built on that foundation, and each and every one of them made a distinctive contribution to nation building, among others, strengthening our democratic institutions, capacities, consolidating national unity, social and economic development. Accordingly, in assuming the presidency on the 21st March 2005, President Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba had this to say, and I quote, "A new dawn has set on our beautiful country. From this day onward, our country will continue to move towards the future as a united, democratic, and prosperous nation." End of quote. While President Dr. Hage Geingob, in celebrating the 30th anniversary of our independence, said, and I quote, "It was on this day that we witnessed the hosting of the Namibian flag, symbolizing the birth of a sovereign nation, celebrating the gift of freedom and opportunity to pursue our common aspiration." And in addressing our 34th independence anniversary, President Nangolo Mbumba reminded us that, and I quote, "True independence is fundamental to the success and credibility of any nation. It is only through independence that people can obtain their dignity and full humanity." End of quote. With those profound statements of our leaders, the progress that we have made as a nation was a result of collective efforts. Individual members of our society responded to the call of our leaders, and each arm of the state, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, made significant contribution to the political, social, and economic development of our country. Similarly, the private sector, churches, traditional authorities, and other non-state actors have been also important constituency in nation building. I therefore pledge to continue to work with all these institutions and to make a success of our country. In other words, the legacy of our leaders has to continue. Directors of ceremonies, the task facing me as the 5th president of the Republic of Namibia is to preserve the gains of our independence on all fronts and to ensure that unfinished agenda of economic and social advancement of our people is carried forward with vigor and determination to bring about a shared, balanced prosperity for all. The mandate that the electorate gave to the SWAPO party under my leadership is clearly articulated in the SWAPO party election manifesto 2025 to 2030, the SWAPO party political program, and the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. Those will be my guiding instrument throughout my presidency as I serve all people of Namibia regardless of their political affiliation. Directors of ceremony, I have been an advocate for equality between men and women. I believe that it's not good for a society to underplay the role that one segment of the population can play in the social, political, and economic fiber of our society. The SWAPO Party Congress of 2002 took a bold decision to amend the SWAPO Party Constitution to provide for 50-50 representation in the leadership in all party structures. And I'm happy to make this statement in the presence of President Hifikepunye Pohamba, our second president, who presided over the 2002 SWAPO Party Congress. The SWAPO Party government then followed this policy in the running of the government. The result has been encouraging, as many women, including myself, have been occupying strategic positions in government. At one point, we had the Prime Minister, who's a woman, the Deputy Prime Minister, a woman. However, we might all know that equality between women and men and the empowerment of women is work in progress all over the world. However, in Namibia, though we have made some progress, I must say, still a lot remains to be done, like it's the case in many countries. I believe that having been elected as president of my country will encourage women from all walks of life to stand up and to be counted, with a clear understanding that I was not elected because I'm a woman, but on merit. That is to say, as women, we should not ask to be elected to position of responsibility because we are women, but because we are capable members of our society to hold such positions. And that is the underlying factor. Directors of ceremonies, the development of any country depends on the quality of its human resources. To this end, education and training will continue to be a priority to ensure that we develop technical and managerial skills and work ethics that requires in the labor market to efficiently and effectively manage our economy and create the necessary jobs. We will therefore promote continuous improvement of our education system from pre-primary, primary, secondary, tertiary, as well as vocational levels. In addition, access to quality health care is a right that all Namibians should enjoy, irrespective of their economic and social status. We will ensure the implementation of the comprehensive universal health coverage to serve all Namibians in all the parts of our countries. Directors of ceremony, we will increase investment in the development of infrastructures to open investment opportunities, enhance economic productivity, promote economic growth, and improve the quality of life of our people. Our country has witnessed unprecedented process of urbanization over the past 35 years that put tremendous pressure on the urban infrastructures, sanitation, and housing. We will therefore upscale investment in urban land development and delivery to facilitate access to decent housing by the majority of our people. The investment in urban areas will be accompanied by investment in rural development with particular reference to agriculture to address the rural-urban migration. A green revolution is indeed visible in our country based on available land and water resources. We are going to increase investment in the agricultural sector to increase output and meet domestic food requirements. Agriculture, as our founding president taught us, people who cannot feed themselves, they will never be respected. Agriculture can also produce raw materials that can serve as an input to the manufacturing sector, a necessity for industrialization and job creation. Director of Ceremonies, we pledge to the people of Namibia to diversify our economy for our people to drive maximum benefit from our country's natural resources through value additions. The diversification, mental, and enhance and expand social safety nets. It will also create jobs to take care of the unemployed, of which majority are the youth. Opportunities will be created for the effective participation of the youth and women in various sectors of our economy through targeted financing, training, mentorship, and internship program. As part of youth empowerment program, the government will promote various sports codes and investment in appropriate sports infrastructure, because many of our youth, they are the beneficiary in this. Attention will also be given to the creative industries to make space for our people to bring out their talents. Directors of ceremonies, the attainment of sustainable socio-economic development can only be realized through an accountable administration. Therefore, we will promote good governance with predictable, rule-based system that instills confidence in our institution. Public servants are required to maintain at all times high ethical standards. They should provide the best possible service to the population timelessly without favoritism. Corruption in all its manifestations should be avoided at all costs. As a student of Mwalimu Nyerere, he taught me, and he also said it in one of his writings, that corruption must be treated as treason. And I agree, because through corruption, citizens can be frustrated and in the process overthrow governments. Director of ceremonies, we commit ourselves. And when I talk about we, I mean the people of Namibia who have entrusted me to speak on their behalf. We commit ourselves to deepen regional integration through the Southern Africa Development Community, SADC, as a building block for Africa's continental integration through the African Union, with particular reference to the African Continental Free Trade Area, an instrument that can only enable this continent truly to build the Africa we want. Failure to do that instruments will remain in paper, while African citizens will continue to live in absolute poverty. And who of my generation would want to hand over a continent in that situation to the coming generation? It's now up to us as African leaders to make sure that the trust and the confidence the citizens of our continent has placed on us is not betrayed. In Namibia, we will continue to contribute to the international efforts to address global challenges facing humanity today, such as environmental degradation and climate change. We are in this room today. We expect to be at the stadium because the past years we were so relaxed when it comes to the rain pattern. Particularly in Namibia, we knew that traditionally March is the heaviest rain season. But 35 of Namibia's independence, we never had the rain to the extent we have it this year. This is an impact of climate change. We believe in the peaceful resolution of conflicts, internally and internationally. And our policy to support the right of the people of Palestine and Western Sahara to self-determination will continue to be strengthened. We want to promote a win-win situation in trade at the regional level, continental level, and international level. Accordingly, we then will continue to demand for the lifting of sanctions against Cuba, Venezuela, and Zimbabwe in order to allow the trade to move from these countries to other parts of the world. Directors of ceremonies, as members of the AU Committee of 10, Namibia will continue to demand for the reform of the UN Security Council in order to ensure a fair representation of all citizens of the world. As I conclude, I am optimistic that as a nation, we can make a success of our country. We must work together as united people with one heart and one mind. Our founding president taught us, and I repeat, or I quote, "A people united, striving to achieve a common goal for all members of society will always emerge victorious." End of quote. Fellow Namibians, we all need to put our hands on the plow. There is a role to play for each and every Namibian. And we have enough resources to be shared by all Namibians. I implore every citizen, regardless of your background or political affiliation, to join me on this journey of continuous nation building. Let us move in unison under the banner of one Namibia, one nation, to build a prosperous future for ourselves, our children, and our generations to come. I want to thank sincerely our fourth president, Comrade Nangolo Mbumba. He led us during a very, very difficult time. But he has been very calm, and all of us, we were really comforted. And we were able to continue with our national responsibilities. He organized all the programs to send off our departed president in a very dignified manner. As God always prepared, he even made preparations that made it convenient that when our founding president departed, he was able to be paid farewell to all Namibians when the body was taken to all 14 regions of Namibia. It was an action highly appreciated by our people, in particular the young ones. They all now have made history, that when they grow and the history of Namibia, they will read it, they will say, I was along the road when we were bidding farewell to our founding president. Again, during that process, our men and women in uniform have really done proud to our nation in the manner in which they manage the whole process. It is this leadership that I will emulate. Ma'am Sister, you have been always there, beside our president. You have really given the support, which we highly appreciated. For me now, as the 5th President of the Republic of Namibia, I am committed, I am determined, and I believe that together with all Namibians, we can make Namibia the best place for one to live in. Long live the Republic of Namibia. Long live the people of Namibia. Long live the friendship between Namibia and the people of the world. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your attention.
At the start of his speech, he did acknowledge fellow former female African leaders, which include Johnson Sirleaf, the former president of Liberia, and also Nkosazana, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini as well, and just thanking them also for laying the foundation that she is now going to build upon, also paying respect to the founding president and those that came before her as well, including the late president, Dr. Hage Geingob, and of course, Hifikepunye Pohamba as well.
Absolutely. She also said that she's going to preserve the gains that have been made at independence. And she will particularly focus on